Hi, I'm Brittany Campbell, and today I'm going to tell you about fractured fairy tales. A fractured fairy tale is a story with all the basic elements of a classic fairy tale, but all of them subverted or spoofed, and with a modern day's sensibilities and morals. They may also be a parody of fairy tales or a perspective flip, for instance, retelling it from the villain's point of view. And that was from a TV Troops forum. So basically, a fractured fairy tale takes the traditional fairy tale story and twists it in some way. So, for in the true story of the Three Little Pigs, the one on the top left-hand corner, it takes the traditional story of the Three Little Pigs, but then tells it from the wolf's perspective and tells it from his point of view. In the Gingerbread Girl, it's told after the gingerbread man and what happens to those poor little old lady and little old man, and how they decide that they needed to have another child, and they have the gingerbread girl. And then in Seriously, Cinderella is so annoying. It's told from the stepmother's point of view, and it talks about how Cinderella just is incessantly talking, and they just put her to work so much because she just will not be quiet. So for this part at the selection criteria, I went and used I adapted what Bishop used in her book, but I made it for books and for ebooks because there are multiple forms of fractured fairy tales. You can have the actual picture book, or your students can be reading them through an e-version. But overall, does it contribute to an instructional goal? Is it relevant? Is it age appropriate and for ability level? Thankfully, for fractured fairy tales, or for fairy tales in general, they can be very diverse. You can use just animals. You can use different versions of fairy tales from all over the world. Does it motivate students to examine their own attitudes, to understand their rights, duties, and responsibilities as citizens? Those are all good questions to ask as you are thinking about, which fractured fairy tale should I use in my classroom or have in my library? For books in general, is the book jacket attractive? Is it something that students will actually want to read? And then what I've realized recently is typeface is huge for younger readers. If it's a tiny font, or if it's not big enough for them, they will automatically put the book down no matter what it is, just because it hurts their eyes to read, or it's not pleasing for them to read. And then for ebooks, is it a free ebooking site, or is it how pretty much you just need to focus on how much will the cost of the book, of the ebook version, compare to the book version, and will the students and teachers actually use the ebook version over the actual hardback book? These are some of examples of fractured fairy tales. Seriously, Cinderella is so annoying is one of my all-time favorites, and so is the true story of the Three Little Pigs. I think it takes the classical stories and twists them in a very interesting perspective. Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs uses a lot of upper level thinking, just based off of the little details that change, and it's so much fun to use with a group of kids that can actually pick up on that. But I'm going to take you to this Pinterest board that I created for this project. So in this, I give you tons and tons and tons of examples of different types of fractured fairy tales you can use. One helpful tip that I really enjoy is all of these, seriously, Snow White was so forgetful, really, Rapunzel really needed a haircut, no kidding, mermaids are a joke, believe me, Goldilocks rocks. All of those, that series of books also comes with teaching points in the back cover. That's just a tip that I've learned as I've been researching. They give you helpful hints on how to teach, and then books that you can work with afterwards as well. But instructional uses, I went through and I took it how you could use this book for elementary school, just because that's where I am currently. But in first grade, it's wonderful to compare and contrast adventures of characters in a story. They you can take the original version and the twisted or the fractured version and compare and contrast it. That's pretty much what you can do for first through fourth grade, just using different types of keys. So for first grade, it would be the adventures of the characters. In second grade, it's two or more versions of the same story, but by different authors or different cultures. For third grade, you can start using it for distinguishing point of view. So, for example, the Cinderella's point of view versus the stepmother's point of view, or the Three Little Pigs' point of view versus the wolf's point of view. You can also compare and contrast plots of stories told about the same characters, because the plots seem to kind of twist a little bit as well in some of them. In fourth grade, you can use it to compare and contrast the point of view from which different stories are narrated. And those are all Common Core aligned for first, second, third, and fourth grade. Now, vendors and sources. These are all places that the media specialist at my school selected for us to use. She says that of course you can get it from Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, but one that really stood out to me was Kohl's. Apparently, Kohl's has $5 bins of hardback books at the front of their store that they rotate through every month. Another one she said that's really cool is Bound to Stay Bound. She says that they charge a little bit more, but they will also rebind your books for you. But these are all awesome resources to get, or awesome vendors and sources to get books from. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on fractured fairy tales. I know this is one of my favorite types of books.